one of the total gentlemen of Las Vegas is Bill Boyd. Later on in my career, I started to get more success, and I was traveling a lot. And I was buying an airplane, and Bill Boyd had this airplane, and I called him on the phone. This whole conversation happened on the phone. And this is why this handshake rarely exists. I get Bill on the phone. I said, Bill, I understand you're selling your airplane. Yeah, I'm going to start going back east. I got to get a bigger plane. I'd like to buy your airplane. I said, but before I say something, this is my budget. I heard what you were asking. It's a little more than I need. I don't want to, you're a friend. I don't want to negotiate. I'm just telling you where I'm at. This is the most I can pay. And if I pay that amount of money, it's got to go through the pre-check. It's got to go through the check. It's got to go. Okay, I'll make you a deal. I'll accept your price, and I'll guarantee you that everything is fine on the plane. He said, but I need a favor. I said, what is it? He said, you feel my hand shaking? I'm on the phone. I said, yeah, you feel mine? He goes, we got a deal. Now, the plane had to go to Texas. I fly down to Texas, and I'm going to get this airplane. And I was there at West Star Aviation. I sat to the guy. I said, listen, I'm on my way to New York. I'm going to leave the plane. Whatever needs to be done on this plane, in addition to whatever Mr. Boyd didn't take care of, I want it done now. The guy said, Mr. Ruvo, take the plane with you. What? He says, Mr. Boyd came down here and he says, I'm selling this airplane to a friend of mine. Whatever it needs, do it. Whatever it doesn't need, do it. And make sure this plane is 100% as close to new as possible. That's the handshake. The other handshake, because of my cousin calling me, and we had the Venetian restaurant. They had the bootlegger at the time. She said, you know, there's a new hotel coming. I said, which one? She's the Venetian. I said, what Venetian? She said, they're going to implode the Sands and they're going to build a new hotel called the Venetian. I don't think so. She said, yeah, they are. So I verified. I knew what she was saying, so I called Peter Bernhardt, our attorney. Send this guy, named Sheldon Adels, send him a letter. Which he did, and this story's in there. And when my friend Sheldon passed away, they published this story, part of his obituary. But it's all true. I walked in, and he was sitting down, and he said, "I checked you out." I said, "We're even." What'd you find out? I said, "You go first." He says, "You're in my office. What'd you find out?" And I said what I found out. I says, I heard that you like to litigate, you're a very gruff guy, blah, blah, blah. And I said, nothing positive. I said, but my father always told me, you never judge a book by its cover. You got to read the book. I said, what'd you find out? And he said some very nice things. He said, well, we're here. You know, I want to buy the name. I said, who says it's for sale? Oh, you're going to hold me up. You're going to hold me up, huh? I said, I just said it wasn't for sale. Over the next 10 minutes, he's negotiating, telling me what he's going to pay me for this name. I look at him, I said, Sheldon. And it was 1994. My father had just passed away, and I knew we weren't going to keep the restaurant open long. It was too hard on my mom and Michael. And I said, you know, I got to tell you something. If my father sat here, if my father would come back, kick me in the fanny if I had to try to hold you, you're going to build a giant hotel, employ thousands of people, stimulate the economy, buy my liquor. I just can't sell you the name. He said, wait a minute. What do you think it's worth? I said, I'll tell you what it's worth. Steve Wynn bought the Mirage Motel for $750,000 10 years ago. With CPI, I think the name's worth $2 million. That's what you want? I said, it's not for sale. So I said to him, I'll tell you what. Take the name, be an important part of our community, support our community. You got the name for free. What? And he stands up and screaming at me. He says, I am the son of a Boston cab driver. Nobody ever gave me a thing in my life. And I looked at him and he had one of those little flip calendars. I said, Sheldon, see that date? Mark it down. He got the name. handshake, goodbye.
Handshake.
Never charged him a penny, and he never, ever forgot it.